Coach Driving Diaries number 11, and it's a 3-day private hire tour with the new Irizar CT25 CCT. So I'll explain what we're doing shortly, but first, getting up at just before 7:30 today. You know the usual routine now: breakfast, getting ready, etc, etc. And then when I'm ready, loaded the car with the bags, and as you can see on the temperature gauge, it is 21 degrees, and it's just going to get hotter as the day progresses. So with that in mind, pulled into the Budgeons shop to stock up with some bottles to put in the fridge in the coach, keeping them cool. Chose the Lucasade ones because I like those, and they're easy as well. They're the ones that have got the pop lids on them. So getting to the yard for about 9 and doing the usual checks, etc, and setting up. So not doing a little recording here, just busy doing that. I'm starting late as possible today anyway, so then it gives me until midnight when I need to finish for my 15 hours. I shouldn't need it, but it's just there as a safety buffer because where they're going tonight, they could be finished at about 11. So as I say, it should be right, but it's there if I need it. So it's a straightforward run to Keynsham. It's just up to Southwick, the A361 to Baconton, A36 up to Bath, and then the A4 across to Keynsham. So here we are coming into Bath on the A36, the Sydney Gardens area. You used to be able to turn left here and cut through to the A36, running down the south side of the Sydney Gardens, but now you have to go around the A36 on this part because the council cut that road off to stop traffic using that as a shortcut. It's not that much difference going around this side of Sydney Gardens anyway. As you'll see, we shall just speed the footage up now. And as we come around here on this left bend, you'll see a junction coming out on the left. That's where that road comes out. So coming down this way, it's only an extra minute, if that, diversion going on the main A36 anyway. So here we are in Keynsham, making good time, getting here for about 10:30 or so. So we're just going to go right at this mini roundabout, and then right at the next one, which will then bring us onto the bus stops on Ashton Way, which is our pickup point. And as you'll see shortly, as we come round to the right onto the bus stops, there's a decker at the end and a minibus at the other end. Can't quite get into it just yet, but I did stop just before the bus stops, and only for about a minute or so the minibus moved away. Problem is, you can't just do a quick loop round the block either because of the one-way system at the end. You'd have to go left round the roundabout and come all the way back round, but as I say, didn't need to do it as the minibus driver set off out the way, and then pulled into the bus stop to pick up the passengers. And then with everyone on board, we set off, leaving Keynsham. It was round the ring road up to the M32, and then sip onto the M4, one junction, and then the M5. And we made a stop at Stratford services en route because they wanted to brake, and I needed a 45 as well anyway. So here we are on the M4. I'm just moving over to the middle lane because I'm going to need that lane in a moment to join the M5 North, as you'll see on the signage shortly. This bit can be a bit hit miss, especially on a Friday traffic wise, but it's flowing nicely today, and the limits are up to 60 rather than 50 or 40, so and as I say, everything's moving nicely anyway, so that was good. And here we are joining the M5 northbound, which is also looking good traffic wise. Same couldn't be said for the other side though, southbound, which is getting all clogged up. And then, having spoken too soon about the M5 southbound, further up the M5 we caught some traffic, and this happened in a few places on the M5 go northbound, generally about sort of 10-15 minute delays or thereabouts, just stop start, no reason, nothing broke down, no lane closures or anything, or any speed restrictions. It was just the sheer amount of traffic, just one of those ghost traffic jams that happen now and again on the motorways. So here we are at Stratford Services. I'm taking it slower here as we come around to the left because I've just seen this big crater in the middle of the road. So as I say, we're stopping here for a 45-minute break, and gives me a chance to use the facilities as well. As I went in and had a sausage roll and a latte. I know it's about 28 degrees outside at the moment, but I could do with a latte anyway. So from here it's then straight to Nottingham. Pretty simple route up. It's just along the M5, then join the M42 till it runs out, which then becomes the A42, and then the M1 just for one junction, and then on the A453 up round Queen's Drive past Nottingham Station, and then up towards Fletcher Gate to the Ibis where the group was staying. So here we are in Nottingham, roughly about 40-50 minutes late thereabouts behind their schedule, but they weren't worried. They still have time for what they were going to do in the evening anyway, so wasn't a problem at all. So we're just going to come up to this roundabout in a moment and go right and then to the top onto the tram tracks and into Fletcher Gate. Now the Ibis has a lay-by just before the hotel, which is partial loading bay and taxi bay, so I'm just hoping that I can get onto it. This is my very first time in Nottingham, and I don't know how busy this lay-by gets, but I was panicking a bit when I saw some cars in there. Didn't think I was going to get in, but just got a space in the front, so that was quite lucky. So after unloading, I then set off because I'm not actually staying at the Ibis. One, because coach parking is a problem, you can't actually park on this lay-by. and if I was going to park up, I'm told there is no coach parking in Nottingham anyway. I have heard about this. I think I understand that drivers usually book in other operators, somewhere like Tiger European, for example. But anyway, the organiser put me in the Travelodge, which is just in the south of Nottingham. Actually, we passed it earlier on the way in. And I can park the coach there, and there is a sort of restaurant pub-like type thing next door, which is handy for having dinner later on. So just coming through around the bus gate onto George Street, and then looping round the A60, the one-way system, and then passing Nottingham Station off towards the Travelodge. So, talking of operators, Nottingham is home to the operator Skills, or Skills of Nottingham. And a person that works at Skills is a YouTuber called Ride with Robin. If you haven't seen his channel, do check it out, because he does videos like this as well, but obviously covering the Skills operation, which is an operator that's bigger than us at Chandler's, a lot more vehicles, and quite a different variety of vehicles than what we have as well. So it's worth checking him out and checking out what Skills do and what vehicles they have. I'm sure he's watching this video now, probably recognises all this area and is probably thinking, why am I going this way, or I could have done a better route in and out of that place, or whatever. Please do excuse me, as I said, it is my first visit to Nottingham. So here we are, coming around the roundabout into the Travelodge. Haven't quite worked out where or how I'm going to park yet. But just come around the corner, see there's a space on the left, some empty parking bays. So just went into there, checked into the hotel, and asked the staff if parking there was fine. And they said no problem parking there. However, I decided to try and turn around after parking here, so I'm facing the other way. That took about 10 minutes to figure out a sensible route of turning around, but I did it in the end. Right, so after doing a quick tidy up in the coach, which didn't take that long anyway, because they didn't leave that much mess, went to go to the room. Quite a basic room, it's what you expect for a Travelodge anyway. No aircon, though there was a fan supplied, so that was plugged in pretty much straight away and put onto max. Shower was a bit basic as well, wasn't that much pressure with the water that comes out, but again, you know, it's a room that does for 2 nights, so happy enough with that. Nice, clean and tidy. So after unpacking and then relaxing for a bit, it was time to head back to the coach and back to the Ibis again. This was about an hour or so later on, because now I'm picking the group up to transfer them to Lutterell Hall in West Bridgford, which is only a short drive anyway, probably a couple of miles if that from the Ibis to the hall. And then at that place, the hall, I can't park there anyway, so I'll be driving back to the hotel afterwards to have something to eat at the Riverside Farm next door. So I'm starting to get used to the layouts of Nottingham. Once you've worked out what is tram only and all that sort of stuff. I think I've finally got used to the roads in and out by the third day, which is obviously the day that we're coming back, typically. Luckily, the bus areas are open to any buses, so to speak, because there are such thing as local bus only areas, bus gates, bus lanes, etc., and they're only for the use of the whatever the local operator would be in that area that it applies to. London is an absolute pain for that, because Transport for London seems to like to keep their roads to themselves. So a lot of those are local only or TFO only buses. Not everywhere, but quite a lot of areas are. Absolute nightmare. But Nottingham at least is bus gates for any operator, which is very handy around here. So this is the route to Lutterall Hall. As you can see, a short distance. Ignore the first bit outside the Ibis there, because Google Maps obviously doesn't recognise the bus gate down George Street. But otherwise, the one-way street around the A60, etc. That was the route I took down to Lutterall Hall at West Bridgeford. So there we are, there's the hall on the left, and now it's time to go back to the Travelodge and park up there and then go and get something to eat. So in the end, I figured a route that's probably easiest to get into the parking bays and facing the right way afterwards. There's probably something else I haven't seen, but this looked like a good idea. Just going left here, get off the road a little bit, and then reverse backwards. Obviously there's plenty of cameras looking around behind and to the side anyway. Just stopped a moment because I saw a car coming down. It's easiest just to let the car be completely clear of the road, and can check the blind spot on the left for any cars coming up the road, and then just reverse back into the car parking bays. So we are putting myself on rest. It's just before 6:30, and then locking up and going straight to the Riverside farm to get my dinner. and opted for a Diet Coke with a cheeseburger and chips. And a very nice meal this was too. So afterwards went back to the room just to chill out for a bit, and then later on going back to the coach, booking on now at just gone 9:30 at night, ready to go around and pick them up again at Luttrell Hall. This is why I said earlier on about booking on a bit later on to give myself till midnight, because they didn't really know what time they're going to finish. Their ballpark time was going to be about 11 p.m. to get them back to the Ibis for 11:15. But on the day they decided they might change it, and they did. They decided they're going to finish an hour earlier instead, so that was fine. But as I say, I've got enough time on my taco to do this anyway, so that was all good. So as we're parked up, I thought I'd just quickly explain this speed sign warning system that I was talking about in the last video of this coach. I know I was saying that sometimes it does read the signs wrong, as it was saying it was 80 miles an hour in London somehow. But obviously it's read the sign right here, 30. However, it does flash when you're doing 30 miles an hour or 28 miles an hour, it's still flash. And I think I've figured out why. It's actually reading in kilometers an hour, because you may notice the outer dial is kilometers an hour, while the digital display in the middle is miles an hour. So if it sees a sign and it's 30, it assumes it's 30 kilometers an hour. So if you do 30k, it's fine, but if you go over that, it starts flashing. Obviously you do translate to miles an hour, it's always going to flash. I'd imagine there's a setting somewhere you could probably change this outer dial into miles an hour. I don't know how, I'd have to look into that. But yeah, that explains what that is. It's actually kmh, not miles an hour. So, having transferred them back to the hotel and going back to the Travelodge, I'm clocking off at 22:40, just after. And that brings the end of day one. Not going to clean the coach out now. I shall sort out the coach in the morning. So day two is a later start, as I didn't need to book on till about midday. So going to the Riverside Farm for breakfast. Coming in at about 10 a.m. Thought I didn't want to leave it too late, because I think their breakfast finishes at 11. Going for the cooked buffet breakfast option, which always goes down a treat. And then later on, booking on at just gone at 12 o'clock. So I didn't need to go around to the Ibis at this time, because they made their own way to the castle this morning. And I'm picking them up from Nottingham Castle at Peveril Drive at the bus stands there. So here we are coming into Peveril Drive, going around this triangle system, because you can't come in or go down the road off to the left, because that's some permit holders only route, some quite residential area I think, but nonetheless you can turn around here easily enough, just minding the trees. I do keep looking for the mirror arms, making sure they're clear of the trees, but then of course remembering there are no mirror arms. But of course maybe that's a good thing that I've still got that in my mind, because when I go back to having a coach with mirrors on, you know, I'm not going to think it's mirrorless and knock the mirrors off. You don't want that. Anyway, the police van was there in front. It was a protest apparently going on around the Nottingham Castle. So some of the roads were closed around that area. It's just some of the roads, the smaller roads, you know. So luckily the main roads that I wanted weren't affected, at least. So from here we then went to Sherwood Forest, taking the A60 out to Nottingham, which just seemed to go on and on, trying to get on Nottingham for some reason. But anyway, it's about an hour's drive, and then you can just follow the brown signs, which takes you along the A616 Worksop Road, and then takes you into the north side, which didn't quite expect the route to be in that way. But anyway, and then drops them off in the coach park. So the parking was paid for by the organiser anyway, but it is £15 otherwise for parking, and you pay at the visitor centre. There is no Ringo or pay by phone system or anything like that. Just head over to the visitor centre and pay for your parking there. So as I'm parked up, I thought I'd just give the interior dash area a bit of a clean up. This is the spray stuff that I use for the cab area. Then after I've done that, took a walk to the visitor centre, and then go downstairs, use the facilities, and grab a latte. So we left at just gone 4:30, heading back to the Ibis Nottingham now. Just taking a left at the exit to the coach park. It's a bit tight really, but it's doable. Decided to carry on the right though, go out on the in road, so to speak, just to avoid having to do a shunt because of the post in the middle of the road. It's just to the left. We can't see it on this camera view here. And then I went left here and then straight on through to Edwinstowe village. Just go straight through on the one-way system and head out onto the A614 back towards Nottingham. So got back to the hotel for about 5:30. Just going round back towards the travel lodge, doing the usual routes, going right here through the bus gate and turning left onto George Street. So being a Saturday night and a very warm day, it's very busy around the centre here. Pubs look like they're going to be rammed, restaurants, etc. So I parked up on the side of the road here. Decided not to go into the hotel car park. There's no point since I'm going straight back out in an hour and a bit anyway. Did a bit of hoovering and then sort of chilled out for about half hour or so. And now going round to pick the group up at the Ibis again. And this time they're going to the Princess River Cruises on the Racecourse Road. As you can see here on the map, it's not that far away, again, just a short excursion. And I wasn't sure if I was allowed to stay and go on the boat. Apparently I was, because I had it in mind that I was going to have to go back to the hotel again and do the usual park up and have dinner at the Riverside Farm, but I'm told that there is space for me, so I shall certainly go in and find out if that's true or not. So it was a bit tight to get in the gates, but I don't know, okay. Just sat down here and was then told that yes, I'm allowed to park up and go on the boat, so that was a unexpected bonus. So they told me just to go around to the north side of the loop, so just driving around and looking for a suitable place to park up. I decided to use this bit, which is a bit sort of further away, just in case any more cars turned up. They could use the spaces there closer to the boat, but there was no other cars anyway, so it didn't really matter. But nonetheless, parked up safely out the way. So here's the boat I shall be on for the next 3 hours, going along the River Trent. Now this is not a guided tour, this is a sort of a party trip. So you have a barbecue buffet first, for the first hour, with some music playing in the background. And then the DJ comes on and just hits some tunes for the next 2 hours. And some people have a dance in the middle as well. Yeah, all good vibes on board, although it's very, very hot, so there's no air conditioning. It's not moving fast enough for any wind to come in through the windows either. But there is a fan on board, which wasn't doing a lot. It certainly had a lot of Cokes and J2O to try and keep myself hydrated. But otherwise, yeah, a very good afternoon, especially with the bonus. I wasn't expecting to be able to go on the boat. Okay, we're just about to pull away from the Ibis Hotel. Just giving it a moment because it's just about to pull away, check the left mirror and just seen how busy it is. So just holding back a moment. There is a couple of nightclubs back there, and it's getting very congested in the pavement. You can see people walking off the curb right down the side of the coach. So just waiting for it to ease before I pull away. Otherwise, if I pull out now, the swing of the coach is going to start knocking people over. So you're just taking it steady, waiting for the car to come down so I can use a bit the other side of the road. And now we're heading back empty to the Travelodge. So you can see the mirrors are in night mode, as I demonstrated in the last video at London. Obviously you only ever saw these in the daytime, but this is how the effect would actually look, as you can see now, at night. So the very top one is still in daytime, that doesn't have nighttime mode. So you can see that's a bit of a sort of black and white image, but the night one brings it into a sort of infrared sepia effect almost. It's surprising how clear it is, really. It's much clearer, personally, I think, than glass mirrors. The visibility at night, certainly, especially in the dark areas. I was actually quite surprised what you can see without any street lighting around as well. So there we are, clocking off at midnight, and that brings the end of day 2, although technically we're now in day 3. Also surprised to see 2 other coaches here from Daish Holidays of Devon, but I assume it's a bit like me. I think the drivers are staying here. I don't think there was 2 coach loads of passengers in the Travelodge. So the next morning I was up at 7 and ready to have breakfast next door, since they started breakfast at 8 a.m. And then checked out the Travelodge, and now on my coach, booking on at about 9:15. Just making sure, obviously, I've had my 9 hours off since finishing at midnight last night. So just doing a check through the coach, because I've got about 50 minutes before I need to go around to the hotel. So doing some tidy up, say just doing it later on back at the yard. It's not too bad anyway, but decided to go through with the hoover with the bits that are there. Do a quick clean up of the windows inside as well. So after doing this, went to the hotel to pick up the group and load the luggage. Not going to show the route to the hotel, you've seen it enough times now, I think. So after here, we were heading back towards Keynsham, but with a stop at Stratford on the way through for 4.5 hours stop. Something on their itinerary that they put in. It was just lunch and a visit to the town, just to break up the journey really on the way back home. And Stratford's always a nice place to stop anyway, or even have it as an excursion as a day out, but first we went to Anne Hathaway's house. This is on the outskirts of the town. There is coach parking bays there as well, but they didn't have a visit as such into the house. It was just a 10-minute stop for a group photo outside the house. The other thing I like about Stratford is just the way it's set up for coaches, and it all just works as well. There's not many places that have this. You certainly don't have this in anywhere in London. Some drivers will be able to tell you that. There's no one parking here all day at the pick-up, drop-off point or anything. It's just on Windsor Street. Really is in the heart of Stratford, really. Passengers really don't need to walk far for the centre, or anywhere around the area, to be honest. And you sit down here, the man asks you what time you're leaving, makes a note of it, and then you disappear to the coach park, which has plenty of space in it. And again, even the coach park isn't that far away from the town either. As you see here, there's already 2 coaches in. You can usually line 3 up. You could probably squeeze 4 at the front here, loading up. But you do want a bit of space between the coaches. So here we are at Stratford's main coach park. This is the back of the leisure centre. There is facilities inside. I believe there might even be a cafe. I've seen drivers walk out with hot drink cups before. I've not been in there myself. Usually I just walk further down into the town and get a Greggs or something. But it is there, so I think there's, as I say, toilets and that as well. So just parking at the end. These spaces just usually easier to get out of, and it's next to the parking machine as well. So you do pay for parking here. It's not one of those fixed rate where it's £30 even if you're there for 10 minutes or all day. There's different tariffs. I paid about £8. I think it was £8.80 for a 4 hours parking here. So decided to go around the corner and hop onto the Stratford sightseeing bus. Did the whole loop from start to end, which takes an hour. I know I'm sat downstairs. I've been on this before when I did a stop at Stratford-upon-Avon. So and I did do the upstairs bit then, and I just remembered how very breezy and how much you get bashed around with the trees upstairs through those country roads that the route goes along. So I decided, having done that, I might I'll do it downstairs this time instead. But still, that killed an hour. And so here we are, having dropped them off back at Keynsham. Just leaving here at 7 p.m. So we had a very good run back from Stratford, no problems at all. Simple route back. It was along the A46, the M5, and then it was pretty much the same route that you've seen that we did on the way up, the M5, M4, M32, round the ring road into Keynsham. And so here we are in Bath. Just pulled away from the Ambury bus stops back there, just so I could use the toilet. Now on our way back to the yard. Gonna just run through past the bus station and then head out on the A36 and in towards Westbury that way. So we pulled into the garage on the way back to top up the fuel. Still had over half a tank in it anyway. Hadn't filled it up at all in the last 3 days. But I never like to leave a coach with half a tank used, especially if the next person has got a busy day or something. It's always nice to just top up the fuel for the next person. And then back at the yard, done the seatbelts up and quick check through. Didn't really need a clean out, to be honest. They left it nice and tidy. So there we are, finishing now at about 9 p.m. I think it was, roughly. Can't remember the exact time now. And that is the end of this 3-day tour. So there we go. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, like and subscribe for more of these type of videos, and until then, I shall see you on the next episode. Alright, take care, thank you, and goodbye.